In a lot of ways, the arts are perfect for dealing with adolescence because the whole adolescent's life is a drama. It's an art piece.
So to start off, can you tell me what art therapy means to you?
I think the best way I can describe it, Priscilla, for 22 years I worked in a private psychiatric hospital, primarily working with children and adolescents who'd been physically or sexually abused. And with little kids, they didn't have vocabulary to explain what had happened to them. They just knew they felt bad. And the adolescents, frankly, were so angry or pissed off that they didn't want to talk about it with an adult. But in both instances, they had feelings inside that were mucking up their behavior at school, making family life miserable, and just generally running roughshod over their lives. So the work was all about how to take this feeling that's inside, get it out in a visible form, and then have the therapeutic benefit to somebody else in the world getting it, being able to understand what had been communicated visually. Because the most psychologically damaging thing for a person in the world is to feel like they're the only person who's ever felt this way. So art therapy, well, at least the way I've practiced it, art therapy, it really is all about how to give voice to things that may be unspeakable for one reason or another.
What are differences that you keep in mind when working with adolescents as opposed to an older client base?
For me, the thing that has been that I find really lovely and challenging about working with adolescents is their resistance. I've almost never had them come into the studio and be thrilled to be there. I mean,
How do they get matched up with an art therapist?
It depends on the facility. I mean, again, I worked in a private psychiatric hospital, and then most recently I did work with a place that was a treatment facility for adolescent boys who'd committed a sexual offense of some kind. And as you might guess, 90% of them were the victims of abuse themselves, and they acted out in a way that they knew. But in both cases, it's like the notion that there's something wrong with them is sort of an anathema to adolescents. They really don't like that idea, so they're angry. They're angry about their life circumstances, and they're angry that somebody's told them they have to get some help. And there's something to me there's a beauty in that anger that I just respond to. And then the work is all, again, how to help them take the feeling that's in here, honor it, believe that it has a reason to be there. It's not because they're a bad kid, that they have reasons why they feel the way they do.
Did you always know that you wanted to work with adolescents specifically?
Actually, no. When I first started work at Harding Hospital in Columbus, Ohio, I was mainly interested in adult psychiatric and was fascinated by all that. But somehow the adolescent world kept calling to me, and people kept inviting me. Come on, be part of our adolescent groups here. And then
it's probably a hard group.
Yeah, well, but once I got into it, then I just fell in love. In the last 15 years I was at the hospital, I worked, as I said, almost exclusively with children and adolescents. And the adolescent, there's something about the drama, the immediacy of their life experience that just resonates with me. I mean, in a lot of ways, the arts are perfect for dealing with adolescence because the whole adolescent's life is a drama. It's an art piece, from the way they look, to the way they wear their hair, to the clothes that they wear, to the way they move, to the music that they listen to, the things that they're interested in.
So true.
Art is everywhere, so it's a perfect way to relate to them.
And what would you say to someone who comes in and says, I have no artistic talent?
Perfect. I can teach you. What do you feel? What's going on inside? And I can find some ways to help you express that.
Do you think it's harder for young men to express themselves than young women?
No, I think it's different, the way they express themselves. Young men will tend to express themselves more physically, more out there, more in your face, and whereas a lot of times the adolescent women that I've worked with have tended to be more in shell, hurt, controlled, and so it's helping them get that stuff out and helping the guys kind of, well, let's contain this just a little bit.